Okay, hi. This is my YouTube channel, Serial Redesign by Randy K. Wilson. I am Randy K. Wilson, and this YouTube channel is all about how I love true crime and I love painting furniture. So you get to sit here and watch me paint furniture and listen to me tell stories about true crime. Yeah. I think it's genius. Let's see how it goes. Okay, so my setup's a little weird. I have a screen kind of like right here in front of me where I will be watching the video with you and explaining things as I go. And then I also have like some notes here to kind of like, remind me of the serial killer I'm talking about today and not leave any important stuff out. Cool, right? Right, we'll see. Okay, I'm just gonna push play. We're gonna get started. Should mute it though. Okay, so this is a trunk that we had in our garage for a very long time. My roommate and I, she had it in her apartment, everywhere she's lived. She's always had this for like years and years. And I guess when she got it, pretty cute. Got this little Paris design on it, and I think it's cute. But, it's worn down. We're not using it. We don't have space in our house for it. I decided that it was going to be one of my projects. So, yeah. Just showing you all the yuckiness of the outside and everything like that. All right, so I use Dixie Belle products because I personally love them. I know that not everyone uses them, not everyone loves them as much as I do, but that's what I use. And so like for this project today, I have a list right there: sandpaper, white lightning cleaner, use it all the time on every single project. Sea spray texture, used it for the first time on this project, and let me tell you, it's pretty awesome. And then, so my colors: peony, apricot, the Gulf, and then I'm using a transfer, which are these really cool, just like giant stickers that you put on your work and makes it look really artsy whenever you're not necessarily all that artsy. So cool. There's our transfer. Right. First step, removing hardware. Okay. And while I'm doing that and you're watching me pry the hardware off, I'm going to start telling you a little bit about today's serial killer, which is not actually a serial killer. This is actually more of a prologue into how I became interested in true crime and why I love researching horrendous crimes like those committed by serial killers. So yeah, I'm starting off with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, okay? And as you might have seen in my title, that is also kind of the inspiration for my furniture design today. I know, it's super silly, but you'll see how it works in. You will see. Okay, also pause. You have to sand and scuff. If something's already been painted, get your sandpaper out, scuff it really good with the sandpaper before you ever paint anything, okay? All right, back to Texas Chainsaw Massacre. All right, so here's the lowdown. Every single person in Texas believes that the Texas Chainsaw Massacre actually happened, and they believe that it happened in their hometown. Everyone. Texas is a huge state, but everyone deep down in their core believes that the Texas Chainsaw Massacre happened wherever they grew up. Weird, right? Okay. But that's just how Texans are, I guess. I don't know. That's how I am. That's why I got into this. Yes, I'm still sanding. Okay, here's the part. Dixie Belle White Lightning cleans like a champ. Okay, you want to mix, the instructions are on the bottle, 2 tablespoons per gallon, I believe is what it says. Warm water, make sure you have 2 buckets. You want 1 bucket with your white lightning in it and 1 bucket with your just warm water. Okay, so you will have a rag, and I use cut up t-shirts. I don't buy rags. I have a million t-shirts. I'm a teacher. We all have a million t-shirts. People just give them to us. And so I chop up the t-shirts, use them as rags, dip it in the white lightning, cover whatever I'm cleaning. And then when it gets all gross and gunky, go to the other bucket, wring it out in that. So you get your gunk and your nastiness in just the water. And so you don't have to worry about replenishing the white lightning all the time. Okay, and then after you do that, you have to go back over it with warm water to make sure you get all of the cleaning product off of it. Okay, cool. Now I am mixing the sea spray, which is a texture. It's like, I don't even know, like plaster kind of stuff. And you mix it with the paint. And as you can see, I am using my apricot and the peony, right? Okay, mixing it with the texture. Cool. Anyway, back to our story. So, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I believed that it happened near me. I believed that it happened, well, not necessarily in my hometown, but very, very, very close. Because that is what my father told me happened. He told me that the Texas Chainsaw Massacre was based on a true story. He said, of course, it was dramatized for film. Okay, I can believe that. I can get on board with that. But that it happened in Cary, Texas, which is 20 minutes away from Memphis, Texas, where I grew up. Okay, now, Cary, Texas, teeny tiny town. Teeny itty bitty itty teeny tiny town. Just to like, I don't know, paint this picture for you. As of the 2000 census, there were 60 inhabitants of Cary, Texas. Just 60. And so now, I mean, like, it's probably way fewer than that. But in the 60s, when supposedly the Texas Chainsaw Massacre occurred, there were probably more than 60 inhabitants. Maybe, I don't know, like maybe 90, maybe 100. So, yeah. Okay. As you can see, I've started putting the sea spray mixture and the paints on the back of the chest. I always start with the back because I'm nervous and I've never tried this technique before. So I put it on the back, and I'm basically just going randomly in different spots, different patches all over the place. I don't know if you picked up on it earlier, but the texture of that sea spray and the paint, that the texture you're looking for, I kind of was looking for sort of like a cornbread mix texture. I don't know if that rings a bell with you, what cornbread mix feels like. Gritty but like kind of pasty, almost like pancake. That's what you don't want it too runny. But if you get it too thick, you can just mix a little bit of water in with it and it'll thin it up for you, okay? So what I want is when I put it on, for it to be thick enough so that there are like little peaks. Whenever you slap it on the furniture, little peaks, okay? That's perfect. Great. Okay, so Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Cary, Texas. Tiny town. My father told me that the inspiration for the story of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre it happened in Cary. There was a mother and son duo, okay? These two people lived in Cary, Texas. Apparently they weren't very popular. They were kind of hermits. They kind of stayed to themselves. My dad told me the kid was a loser because he lived with his mom. I disagree with that. I don't think that living with your parents, even if you're a middle-aged person, makes you a loser, but whatever, this came from my dad. He said that lots of time went by, that no one had heard from them, the son or the mother, and that by the time someone had gone and checked on them, the son had murdered his mother and tanned the hide from her body, the skin, and turned it into throw pillows and lampshades. Throw pillows and lampshades. Turned his mother into freaking throw pillows and lampshades. Okay? And so he told me this happened in the 60s. Like, of course, didn't know what happened to the guy after that. That my dad apparently doesn't want to find out all the answers like I do. But, so the only thing that really bothers me about that makes it a little unbelievable to me, although I was 100% in it. You know, as a kid hearing this story, I was like, whoa, that happened here. I cannot believe it. Just mind-boggling. But you know what? He did tell me, you know, the little detail that kind of threw me off. Little tiny town just up the road from Memphis, Texas. And enough time went by for this man to murder and turn his mother's skin into leather and then create pillows and lampshades out of her skin before anybody came around to check on him. Okay, no. What? Tiny towns do not function like this. Never in my life, when I was living in Memphis, Texas, did one day go by that 85% of the entire town didn't know where I was, what I was doing, and who I was doing it with. There's no way. There's no way that he went by that amount of time without someone coming and checking in. No way. Okay, so I don't buy it. However, as a kid, I really wanted to buy it. I really wanted that to be a true story. Okay, as you can see, I've gone through and put the texture on the entire trunk at this point. Cool. Yeah, and so I've already I poured up the Gulf Coast color, which is this really pretty blue, and I'm going over all of the texture. You have to let it dry first. Make sure it dries first. Going over all of it with this pretty blue. Okay? And that's what we're working on right now. All right. So, I lost my notes. No. How did that happen? Lost my notes. What do I do? Okay, so my story, my father told me. On the other hand, I did some video sleuthing to try to find out anything at all that I could about Cary, Texas. Okay, that's understandable, right? Like, what? Something had to happen, right? And my mom thinks so too. My mom thinks that something super horrible, terrible did happen there, but she can't recall what it was. So what? How do you just not remember something like that? So if you know, and you're watching this video, and you know what happened in Cary, Texas, please leave a message in the comments and let me know where to look, or tell me about the story, or something like that. Okay, cool, awesome. So everyone in Texas has a similar story. I'm just letting, You guys, everyone thinks it happened, and everyone thinks it happened near them. Just to reiterate that from the beginning of the story. Oh, it's my honey. Okay. Hey. I hate to break it to you. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre did not, in fact, actually happen. No. It was a completely fabricated story by Tobe Hooper, who wrote and directed the brilliant slasher film that, let me tell you, I watched that again recently and it holds up. It holds up today. The screaming still drives me crazy, but oh my gosh, it is really good. It is really good. Yes, as you can see, it needs to dry. There was some bleed through. That means it needs a second coat. Always have a spray bottle on hand. I know I need to get one of those really cool, like, endless spraying bottles. I just haven't. And Valentine's flowers. My roommate got us flowers. We don't have boyfriends, so we get our own stuff, and that's great. And there's Titus. Oh, it's snowing. This was right before all the blackouts started happening, guys. When we were happy and content. Oh, stretch, big stretch. Oh. Okay, and then I did another coat, and that's a second coat, and it has to dry as well. Cool. Very cool. Oh, and I'm cooking taco soup. That was quick. I'm like a magician. And there's Titus again in the snow. He's so precious. Okay, so the story was completely made up. Tobe Hooper created this story, and he said that it was real so that people would go and see it. Can you imagine? Gosh, filmmakers telling lies to get people to come and watch? What? But yeah, no, he did that. So this is directly from a website. Despite being heavily touted as inspired by a true story, both Tobe Hooper's original 1974 film and the 2003 Marcus Nispel remake are only lightly based on the real-life murderer, Ed Gein. And I don't know if you know this or not, but Ed Gein did not commit his crimes in Texas. He was suspected to have taken several victims between 1954 and 1957. Okay, cool. So Ed Gein is not who we're talking about today. That will need its own episode. So, and probably the piece of furniture that I have to refurbish for that will be like maybe an entire kitchen or an RV. I would love to renovate an RV. Oh my gosh, that would be so much fun. If you have an RV and you want me to come paint it, call me. Message me though. I'm not giving you my phone number. Okay, yeah, here's sanding. I started on the back again. I was terrified at this moment. Like I say, I have never done this technique before. I watched it on YouTube myself by a lovely furniture artist, Bella Renovare, Krista Dawn. She's so good. She's so good. I watch her stuff and she blows my mind. Go and watch her stuff. If you really want to know how to do things, like I'm doing it and I love my results, but I'm telling you stories about serial killers to kind of hide the fact that I don't know what I'm talking about. Okay, so yeah, sanding. And if you could see, like, once it gets sanded, you can see the peony and the peach peeking through because of that texture. So the sandpaper knocks it off, knocks the blue off that texture, it comes off. And then you see the pretty colors shining underneath, and it's so awesome. It's lovely. I love it. Okay, so serial killers. Ed Gein not covering him today. Maybe not ever covering him because that sounds hard. But Ed Gein, he did wear human scalp and face on him. Like, it just helped quell his desire to be a woman. But the character Leatherface, he was kind of inspired by that. Okay? You know, gross. Ew. Yeah, so yeah, that's the actual, like, where the Chainsaw Massacre actually, the story actually came from. Not a true Texas story. No, didn't happen in Texas at all. Although lots of things did. Look, see all that? You can see it peeking through the blue. Pretty. So pretty. Yeah, that's awesome. This is the transfer part. Like I said, transfers, great big stickers. Yeah, you just put them wherever you want, and you have to get your little tongue depressor thing and scrape them onto whatever you're wanting them to transfer onto. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. This one is a cow skull. Have you seen it? Have you seen the Texas Chainsaw Massacre? I hope you have. Like, it's iconic. And I recently rewatched it. And I must say that this cow skull design just goes freaking perfectly with the movie. So I was really, really excited to get to do to get to do this piece with this episode. There's lots of different scenes where when they're going through the house and you see all the like bones and skulls of animals and people hanging on the ceiling, and it's just really creepy and gross and ew, and it would make such a great like Halloween like haunted house. I would love to walk through that, or just walk through the movie set. That'd be cool too. So yeah, as you can see, very, very carefully use the tongue depressor. Press it down. Pull up the plastic. You gotta be very careful, especially with at the top of that, there's lots of little flowers and little details, and you want to make sure that they're pressed really, really well. Very cool. So information for this episode was found on Wikipedia. And then chasingthefrog.com. Very pretty. Very, very pretty. And then from my own life experiences and retelling stories that I have heard that are not true. But I had my entire life wished that they were true. The chalk paint needs wax on top to set, okay? Chemically, it doesn't work. It doesn't stick to things if you don't get the wax on it after you've painted it. It just doesn't hold up. But when you wax it, it does. Clear coat wax, this stuff is so easy. I have only ever used the kind of wax that like it's in the tub and you gotta scrape and smear it. This, you just spray it on, wipe it down, clear coat's taken care of. And then of course, after that, best dang wax in black, okay? Because I want it to have like that grungy look, you know, that dirty grunge look. So black. And you'll see me going through this process. Yeah, my favorite part is wax at the end, because that's whenever everything has depth. It adds that like, I don't know, that artistic look to it. So I love the shadowing. I love the wax. Yeah. So this is my Texas Chainsaw Massacre inspired trunk with my cow skull on the top. And of course, because it's me, it's bright and it's beautiful. I love color. That's what you're going to see in the next videos that I make. I'm not going to make a promise that I can get a video out every week, especially right now. If you haven't heard, Texas is experiencing rolling blackouts all over the place, all over the state. So the fact that I actually got this recorded today is a miracle. Yeah, and then over the top, because I envision this either being used as just a pretty piece in someone's home where they could put blankets or store whatever they want inside of it, or a coffee table. So I definitely decided to put gator hide on top, which will protect it from rings from glasses and stuff like that. And there's the after. It's so pretty. You see how the pink comes through the blue there? Oh, so, so pretty. Awesome. Okay, guys. So that is my first episode of Serial Redesign by Randy K. Wilson. Again, I'm Randy K. Wilson, and you just heard a story about the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and you watched me design a trunk inspired by the story of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. But not really. I didn't really get into gruesome details in this video. I probably will in the future, just because I'm super interested in all the gruesome, gory details. So that will probably be coming, but just a heads up. This first one, just to see how this goes, I kept it pretty easy, pretty light. Yeah. So if you are interested in purchasing a piece from me, you can find me on Serial Redesign by Randy K. Wilson on Facebook, and like and subscribe to this channel. That will help me out so much. Share it with all of your friends, please, because I'd love to build a following so I can entertain your friends as well. And also, if you have furniture that you would like to give a facelift to, you're looking at this beautiful coffee table or couch table, you know, those pretty skinny ones that are right behind the couch that you put things on, and you're like, man, I love it, I don't want to get rid of it, but it needs something, you know, call me and we'll figure it out together. We'll give it that something. So yeah, contact me through Facebook. I say call me. Contact me through Facebook, Serial Redesign by Randy K. Wilson on Facebook. Okay? Message me and I will get back to you. I should have mentioned this at the beginning of the video, but 20% of the profits that I make from any of the pieces that I create for these videos specifically, it's like the chest. If I sell the chest, which I think I might already have a buyer, if it gets sold, 20% of the profits that I make are going to be donated to End the Backlog, which is my favorite charity. Please look up End the Backlog. They are a fabulous, fabulous organization. They are dedicated to getting rape kits tested that have basically just been sitting around in storage for years and years and years, and nothing's ever come about those rape kits. So it's very important. There are a lot of scumbags on the street that have no right to be. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Like and subscribe, share it with all your friends, please. And I hope to see you again soon. Fingers crossed. And love you. Bye.